thinking about moving here to the Daybreak area, there are some things that you need to consider. While a lot of families love this community, it's not for everybody. In this video, I'm talking about the pros and cons of living here in Daybreak in South Jordan, Utah. And make sure you stay till the end because I'm talking about one thing that nobody talks about, and it can be a pro or a con depending on your personal situation. So let's get into it. Now, the first pro of living here in the Daybreak community is the outdoor activities. For example, here I'm in the watercourse area on the west side of Daybreak, and as you can see, there's a little man-made river here, creek. There's also a pond here right behind me. There's also different lakes here throughout the Daybreak community that you have access to as a Daybreak resident. But in addition to that, there's also literally a park or a trail within 5 minutes or less of your home here in the Daybreak community. So you have access to tons of parks, over 22 miles of trails where you can go for a walk, ride your bike, take your dogs out. There's also tons of dog parks here in this area, in this community. The watercourse area here where I'm currently at, it's still in construction, but it's going to be an area where you're going to be able to take out paddle boards, be able to bring the kids here. I don't think it's going to be safe for you to be able to get in the water and swim, but if you have anything like a paddle board or a canoe, you can take those out as long as it's not motorized. But in addition to that, like I said, there's also a bike park here in the area that you have access to. And over at the Daybreak Lake, you have the ability to rent out canoes and paddle boards during the summer. So something you and your family are able to take advantage of and enjoy. So that's one of the by my personal opinion, the biggest pros of living here in Daybreak is having access to all the outdoor activities, literally within minutes of your home and within minutes of just being able to walk. And one of the cool things I'll show you here in a second. But they have some really unique parks for the kids, and something that the kids are really going to be able to enjoy. And like I said, you have access to all different types of parks here just within a couple minutes of your home, so it's something that's very easy for you to be able to access. Now for the next pro, and this can be a pro or a con depending on what you're looking for. So I mean, if this is something that's a con for you, then it may not be the best fit for you. But that's low maintenance to the homes here, because the homes do sit in smaller lots. There's not a whole lot of maintenance when it comes to these homes. So literally, like if you have a single family home, there's not going to very much mowing. It's not going to take very much, and you don't have to do a whole lot of gardening. You also don't have to do a lot of snow shoveling in the winter. So it's very minimal when it comes to the outdoor maintenance and gardening type of things. But like I said, this can be a pro or a con depending if it's something that you enjoy mowing the lawn. You're not going to have the ability to spend hours doing that, or during the summer spend hours gardening, depending on your personal situation and what you like to do. But like I said, this is something that is very convenient if you're not wanting to have a whole lot of maintenance, and you do have the ability to still take advantage of those like having a yard, because a lot of the townhomes or the homes do have like a green space area that's shared with all the residents. So like you have that green space area in your front yard. You can let the kids go out and play with the neighborhood kids, and still be sit on your porch and be able to see what they're doing. While the homes do sit on a smaller lot, you still have access to all the outdoor areas without having to do all that maintenance that comes with having a big yard. Now, before we jump into the next pro, if you're finding this information valuable and are enjoying my channel, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos about what it's like to live here in Salt Lake City area, Daybreak, and just in the state of Utah in general. If you're planning on moving here, I want to know, where are you moving from? Drop a comment, let me know. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments as well. So I want to hear from you. I want to hear, where you're watching my videos from. But let's jump into the next pro, and that's there's a track station here in the Daybreak community. So if you are commuting, to downtown Salt Lake, or maybe the Lehigh area, and there's a track station by your office, or where you work, you're able to jump on the tracks station here and commute to work, so you don't have to drive, just because the Daybreak community here is on the west side of the valley. Depending on where you are in Daybreak, if you're working downtown Salt Lake City, you're probably anywhere from 25 to 30 minute drive, maybe more depending on traffic. Whereas if you jump on the tracks, and you can get there a lot quicker, not sit in traffic. You can enjoy a YouTube video, or read a book, while you ride there, and not have to worry about driving, and be able to save on gas. And a lot of the companies that do have a track station near their office, they'll reimburse you for the cost of the Trax Pass. So it's something that could be really easy and convenient for you. So it's definitely an option to explore if you're living here in the Daybreak community, or plan on living here, or want to move here, to see if Trax, being able to take Trax is something that's going to be beneficial to you, even if you just do it a couple days out of the week, right? Be able to save a little bit of money on gas, and be able to avoid that drive, especially in the winter months where if you have to wake up early in a snowstorm, traffic can be very backed up, so jumping on tracks can potentially save you a lot of time. Now, before we jump into the next pro, this is one of the bike parks that I was talking about earlier. So this is really, really cool, I think. It's something that I haven't seen in any other community. So it's kind of like a BMX trail, but it's really cool. It's just a really, fun place that kids can come and, take their bikes off a jump, learn how to ride their bike on a trail. Like I said, this is really unique to this community. I haven't seen it anywhere else. But my personal opinion, I think is really, really cool. So now for the next pro. So the Salt Lake Bees, which is the Salt Lake baseball team, earlier this year announced that they're moving their stadium from downtown Salt Lake City, or South Salt Lake City, to here to the Daybreak community. Now this isn't going to be completed for a couple years. But this is going to be massive for here, the Daybreak community, because the residents are going to be able to have access to that stadium, which in my personal opinion, I also think it's going to increase the value of the homes here in this area, just because, it's going to be within walking distance, right? So you're going to have access to baseball games during the summer, and be able to take, advantage of that, and have your family activities, at the baseball park. They also currently do fireworks at the stadium. So I would imagine once they move that here to South Jordan, Utah, or the Daybreak community, they're going to continue to do that. So I guess, that could be a pro or a con, depending on your personal opinion. But like I said, having the baseball stadium, along with everything else that are going to build around it, like restaurants and additional shopping centers, it's going to be really cool to have that access to that type of thing within walking distance. So my personal opinion, I think that's really going to be a pro for the community, and families here are really going to love that. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Marvin Alvarado, the Sneakerhead Realtor here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I get calls and messages from people just like you every single day looking to make their move here to the state of Utah, and I love hearing from you guys. So if you're thinking about making a move here in the next 3 days, 3 months, or even a year from now, feel free to reach out to me. You can call me, text me, or email me. You can also book a call with me directly down below. I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to helping you make your move to Utah as smooth as possible. Now, let's go in and jump into some cons about the Daybreak community. Now, for the first con, in my opinion, something that people, are not a huge fan of here in Daybreak is that you don't really have a whole lot of parking space. So as you can see, like a lot of the homes, you have enough parking, maybe for 1 or 2 cars in your driveway, and then obviously in your garage. But other than that, you're not going to have a whole lot of space to park anything like a trailer or a boat. or anything extra that you may need space for. You know, if you have a trailer or an additional car, that's something you're going to have to, you know, park on the street parking, just because the homes here and the townhomes in the Daybreak community aren't going to offer that extra, you know, driveway space that you need. So that can be a really big con for people, just because a lot of people do have, you know, a trailer or a boat or some sort of recreational activity, you know, item that they need some additional space for, but you're not going to have access to that. You're most likely going to, you know, have to pay to get that stored somewhere. There's lots of different places here in the area that you can, you know, store your RV or your boat, so you're going to have to pay extra for that. Or like I said, you know, park that extra car on the street, which can be very, very inconvenient if you have more than 2 cars in the house. But that's one of the things that people, like I said, really find very inconvenient here in the Daybreak community, just because the homes do sit on a little bit of a smaller lot. Now we're back in my office, and this next con is something that really deters people from moving to the Daybreak community, and that's the HOA fee. The HOA fee is quite a bit higher than anywhere else that has an HOA here in Salt Lake County. So depending on, you know, if you're living in a single family home or a townhome, it's going to determine what your HOA fee is per month. But if you're in a single family home, you're probably going to be around $150 in that range per month. And if you're in a townhome or a condo, you're probably going to be in the $350 to $400 range per month for the HOA fee. Keep in mind that in the Daybreak community, you have the overall Daybreak HOA fee, and then you have your HOA fee for your specific subdivision or community. So you have 2 different HOA fees, but like I said, depending on where you're at, combined for both fees, you're going to be anywhere from about $150 to $350 to $400 if you're in a townhome or a condo. But keep in mind that this comes with a lot of incentives or benefits, kind of what we talked about, you know, earlier, like all the access to the activities, trails, parks, the community centers, the pools, the splash pads. There's even a gym for the Daybreak community residents. So if it's something that you're taking advantage of all those benefits that come with being part of the Daybreak community, then it's something you're going to be able to take advantage of and kind of offset the cost of the HOA fee. Now, if you're not taking advantage of those benefits that come with the HOA fee, then it may not be the right place for you. And like I said, it's something that really deters people from moving to the Daybreak community is that HOA fee. Now, the next con, that's the HOA transfer fee. So whenever you buy a home or you're selling your home, there is a fee associated with that as part of the HOA, and that's about 0.5% of the purchase price. So when you're selling your home, in order to transfer the HOA fee to the new buyer, you have to pay 0.5% of the purchase price. So let's say your home sold for $500,000. There's going to be a fee associated to transfer transfer the HOA information over to the new buyer. And that's going to be about 0.5%. So depending on the price of the home, like I said, it's going to cost you anywhere from a couple $1,000s to several $1,000s. Now, if you're the buyer in that situation, keep in mind that, you know, this is something that you may be responsible for unless you're able to negotiate with the seller for them to cover those costs. But at the end of the day, like, it's going to depend on, you know, what the market is like on, you know, if you're going to be able to negotiate that or who's going to be responsible for that. But keep in mind that's going to cost, you know, anywhere from a couple $1,000 to several $1,000s, depending on the price of the home. And it's something that's non-negotiable. It's something that is required if you plan on selling the home. And if you're a buyer, it's something that's also going to be required to be able to get that transferred over to your name. Now, the last thing that people don't talk about, and this could be a pro or a con depending on your personal situation, but that's the design community. So if you're somebody that likes to make changes to the outside of the home, or you're purchasing a home and you may not be happy with the color of it, and you want to change the color of your home after you purchase it, you can't really do that without getting permission from the design community. So that's something that you can't easily do. So it's not something that's going to be easily accessible for you to be able to make those changes like you would somewhere that doesn't have an HOA. Also, if you want to make changes, to your garden, or if you want to set out certain decorations for certain holidays, they're very strict on what they allow. And if you want to, step outside those guidelines and make changes that may not fit within those guidelines, you do have to get permission in order to be able to make those changes. And it's not as easy as just going to Home Depot, getting some paint and be able to do it yourself. It's something that's going to be a process. It's not going to be something very simple. And like I said, at the end of the day, you do have to get approval for that. So you can't simply make those changes without them agreeing to allow you to do that. But something to keep in mind, for future residents of the Daybreak community. But other than that, I hope this information has been helpful for you. If you have any questions about, the Daybreak community itself or anywhere about here in Salt Lake County or the state of Utah, feel free to drop them in the comments. You can also call me, text me, or email me. There's also a link directly down below where you can book a call with me, and we can kind of talk through any questions that you may have. But other than that, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.